Hi everybody, this is Shirley Decino. Welcome back to my channel, and today's topic is going to be self-esteem. I know you guys have probably heard a lot of things about raising your self-esteem, or you feel that you already have a pretty good awareness of yourself, but once in a while you answer questions that really make you think or make you see a different point of view. And if you're open to growing, like I'm open to growing, this will be very good for you to learn and to shape your perspective a little bit. The number one question that I have for you today, first of all, have a journal or a notebook or a piece of paper and a pen. But the first question that I'm going to have for you today is, how do you define self-esteem? Now, for me, I define self-esteem as knowing yourself, respecting yourself, knowing your boundaries, but also open to growing. And it's very important to be open to growing. Sorry, my lights went out a little bit, but I have extra lighting on me. It's very important to be open to grow, because you'll be able to function a little bit more differently. There are certain things that you're not going to be able to do anymore because you're not willing to accept crumbs or the bare minimum. Number two, rate your self-esteem, 1 lowest, 10 the highest. I think I've grown a lot over the past 5 years. I've noticed that my perspective in life has changed. So I would have to say that for me, I'm at about 8 now, 8.5. Number three, list 5 things you're good at. I love fashion and clothes, so I feel like that's one of the things that I'm good at. I love to write. I'm not perfect at writing because there are editors that help me, but I love writing down my thoughts. And number 3 is I'm very good at reflecting, so I tend to look at my past and break things down into pieces, and I'm much more aware of why I am the way that I am, or why I was the way that I was. Number 4 for me would have to be, I love shopping. So as you can see behind me, I have all my things that I have that I've been collecting. Number 5 is that I love pop culture, so there's always something to talk about. And I am going to be doing a video on a few of the people that I love in pop culture right now who are going through some things, and how that can be a life lesson for us, and how also we can see their mistakes and know that we can kind of not repeat them, kind of not be in a situation that's similar, I guess. Part of question number 5 is, how do you feel when you do these things? I'm happy when I'm shopping or self-reflecting. I mean, when I do self-reflect, I notice that sometimes I kind of get down on myself, but then I remember that if I had known better, I would have done better. Just like Maya Angelou says. And again, write down these answers, your answers, of course. Or if you feel that something I said, gave you an aha moment, write that down as well. Okay. Part of question number 3 is also number 4, describe how your childhood positively and negatively influenced your self-esteem as an adult. I didn't really reflect that much. I knew I came from a toxic family, but I didn't know how that would affect me, and that I was repeating some of the same mistakes that my mother and sister have, and the women previous to them, my grandmother, my aunts, and we tended to have this cycle, whereas I heard that my aunts were tired, and my mom was tired of the way my grandfather treated them, and they wanted to go off and get married, and a few of them got into very bad relationships, including my mom. And I repeated the same cycle. My sister repeated the same cycle, and it's not until now that I noticed that. and that I've kind of stopped it and I'm in a better place now. And I'm thinking about growing my businesses up to business number 6. And, I'm going to be working on that this month. I've, I've been able to push forward and learn and grow as a person and grow in my business because I don't have that sense of not having self-worth, and I don't have that thing about me where I listen to people and kind of let it marinate in my brain and think that another person's opinion is, what I feel about myself. So that is something that is both positive and negative, because I had to go through the negative in order to find out what the positive was. And it's a learning process. To know about my history in my family and to try to learn from it, which I didn't, and then now I have. So it's a little crazy. Part of my childhood was that my parents owned a lot of properties and had a lot of businesses, and although things are different, my mom's still alive, but she doesn't know anything about the internet or anything like that. From her, I've learned to work hard, and sometimes she's worked too hard in her life, and I have as well. And you end up getting sick and having to slow down and then start all over again. So, what I've learned from her is to always have a backup plan, which I never had before, and I've thought about it. 6 income streams coming in and working on those businesses is better than one. Working for yourself is better than working for someone else, because you make up your own rules. And you're still going to be hard on yourself, but you're not going to push yourself to the limit of, or to the point of, hopefully a nervous breakdown, if that makes sense. Sometimes we don't see the work ethic from our parents or our grandparents or our guardians. But that's something I feel that's both positive and negative in my life. And I hope that you can have some sort of an aha moment or breakthrough. So, sorry, there's a little noisy in here. Part of question 4 is, how have you grown since then? More aware. I am just happier that I've learned, because I felt stuck. And knowing all of these things now helps me to not make the same mistakes, grow as a person, and just be the type of person that's a go-getter and tries to learn. And I'm happy to say that I'm growing my email list by the hundreds every day for the past 3 days. And I'm excited because, this email list a lot of these people will be my potential customers and, followers. And I'm excited about that. So just learning how to do that to me was just something that I dreamed about, and now I'm actually doing it. So it's exciting to know about this. And I talked to my mom, but she doesn't understand it because she's not an internet person. She's in her 80s. God bless her. Mom's birthday was just October 1st. So again, happy birthday, Mom. Question number 5. What can you do each day to show more self-love? I'm still working on this, because one of the things that I want to get back into is my routine. And the number one loving thing that I can do for myself right now is work on my business, and I feel like that's putting in a lot of love for myself. But I also want to get back into a routine where I get up early, get to work on my business, and then relax afterwards. I haven't been doing that, and it's affecting me, and it's because I'm a go-getter. And my mom was pushed herself to the limits, and I think I'm like that too. So I have to work on that. And it's something that I feel like, unfortunately, I did get that from my mom. And one of my brothers is also like this, where you kind of push yourself and then you have to like take it easy. Um, I think the most loving thing that I can do is just work on my business because it makes me feel better. If that makes any sense to anybody out there who's also working on their business, it just makes me feel better and it makes me feel like I'm contributing, to society. I'm not just, a couch potato. Oh, that's making that noise. I put up Christmas lights and some of them are falling down. That's what it is. I was just wondering if that was. Okay. This place isn't haunted or, no one's trying to prank me. I'll fix that later. Okay. So we were up to what can you do to love yourself more? I love eating my salads. I'm going to go get one after this. I've noticed that I don't suffer from dry mouth because I have allergies. I'm not as itchy when I have a salad. The extra water in the vegetables and the fruits that I use really do penetrate into my body, and I notice my skin is clear and I'm not always scratching myself. So I think that that's one of the most loving things that I can do for myself. Number 6, list all of the things that make you happy. Include people, activities, possessions, and ideas. I love collecting handbags and shoes and, really nice designer clothes. That makes me happy. But I like throwing birthday parties and giving people gifts. And I'm also going to be doing a giveaway on this channel, so stay tuned. I like being around people that make me laugh and have really nice jokes to tell without being sarcastic and mean, if that makes any sense. Because there are people that are always telling jokes, but their jokes are just so mean and mean-spirited, and I really don't like being around those people. People that make me happy. I have a few friends. I don't have a lot of friends, but I have a few friends that always cheer me up. And if they're ever in a bad situation, I can cheer them up, and it's pretty equal. So I feel like that's something that it makes me happy. Certain people make me happy. I have a more loving boyfriend now who is very funny, and he's a lot more caring than I've ever known or dated in the past. Some of them will say, "Oh, I was caring," if they see this video, but when you do something for someone, you don't throw it in their face, and he's very much like that. He won't. So that's one of the reasons why I'm with him. Activities that I love to do would be shopping. One of my favorite things to do is to go to Starbucks and get my favorite drink. It just makes me feel better because I don't always do it, so I see it as a treat. My possessions, whatever I have now, but also, there are a few people in my family that I do get along with that are, very important to me. My cousins in Florida are very important to me. My oldest brother is important to me. My niece is important to me. Just, certain people. My mom is still alive, and I'm hoping that I can possibly live with her and take care of her and be at that point where, I can make her last few years a little bit better. So let's go to number 7. How would your best friend describe you to a stranger? I guess I was very naive for a couple of years because my best friend was so angry at me because I was getting myself in the same predicaments over and over again, and she was saying, "Don't you see, it's the quality of people." I didn't get it until I started to read up on things and study relationships and see actual relationships that were good for me to to kind of get it, because when you're in it, you don't see it. So she would say that I was a very naive, but that I'm, when we get together, we talked about everything. We would talk about funny things that happened, just things of that nature. I think when you're with your friends, you can be the most open and funny and giving as as you can be. 8, describe your 10 best accomplishments so far, big and small. My Amazon international best-selling co-authored books. I'm up to my 6th one. My 5th, going on 6 businesses. Starting this channel. My upcoming TV show. Just things of that nature. I'm very proud of myself without boasting that I started these accomplishments, and I want to give people the motivation to also do it. It's not just about, hey, look at me and what I've done. It's more like, if I can do it, you can do it. Number 9, describe 10 future accomplishments you would like to achieve. I want to grow my cable channel, my internet channels on Roku TV to Amazon and also Apple. I want to grow my email list to 100,000, and I'm doing a couple of hundred every day. So a couple of hundred every day would get me up to a couple of thousand. I'm hoping to have 2,000 by next week. At that rate, I will be able to get more. So it's important for me to have that email list and then grow it to as large as possible, and then start to funnel through. If you know what a funnel is, it starts off large and it goes down. So I want to put 100,000 people in my funnel and then see what few people will buy my products. Hopefully, 10,000, 20,000, something of that nature out of 100,000. And then grow it to like 500,000 and eventually 1 million people. So it takes time, and it takes also trust. Okay. That was number 9. Number 10, write about all of your challenges. What are you currently facing? My challenges right now are just getting people to understand and know me, building a relationship with my clients and followers. And I've had articles written about me, and all of a sudden I'll get emails or DMs, and it's people trying to ask me out instead of trying to ask me questions about business, which, I know is going to happen, but it's a little bit frustrating because I just want to help people for the right reasons. I don't want to talk about, dating someone when I am with somebody already. So I think that's one of my challenges. It says, next, imagine giving advice to someone with these challenges. What would you say to them? What would your advice be? My advice would be to keep going and know your worth. And what I tell people usually is when I have, the crazy guys or women on DMs or emails trying to ask me out, is like, this is what my business is about, and if you're interested in business, then we'll talk. Otherwise, when you're ready for to talk about business, you have my information. And then I just leave it at that. Next, I want to give you a statement, which is, when you start to truly love yourself, you will not tolerate people, situations, jobs, or anything that is not healthy or is not fair or good for you. You are not being disloyal. You are being self-loving. I just wanted to talk to you guys about that statement because, especially with family and certain friends, they feel like you're a sellout, or if you start doing well, that's just their insecurity. You have to remember that you have to push forward and do what's best for you. And that's the only thing I can say. I'm not going to let anyone get in my way anymore. I had relationships where I was stopped from working on my solo book or trying to find a business that I wanted to start. And that was their insecurities. It got done anyway, with or without them. And as you can see, without any of these people in my life, I was able to push forward. Number 11, what advice would you give to your 10-year-old self? I would have told myself back then to start reading self-help books as of then. And I probably would have avoided certain mistakes, but I also know that my mistakes have made me who I am now. And I'm much happier now than I was in the past, because I realize the people that are not in my life are not going to let me grow as a person and become successful. And for many years that hurt, and I dwelled on it, and I was so sad and angry, and I didn't understand why these people didn't want me in their life, what was going on, what did I do? I didn't do anything to them. Or maybe they were dwelling on something that happened 10 years ago when we were little kids, or whatever the situation may be. You can't fault someone for something that they did in the past. But, and this is why I say but, if you notice that people are still the same, and what I mean by that is, there are people out there that don't grow. They don't, if you're watching a TV all day and doing the same things over and over again, you're not growing, you're not learning, you're not challenged, you're stuck. You're even going to be stuck at a certain income bracket because you're stuck at that level. And when you want to grow at another level, you take classes on how to grow to the next level. You read books, you listen to audios, you do whatever it takes to change that perspective. After you change that perspective and it becomes a part of who you are, you just start acting differently. And that's the advice that I would give myself if I could go back in time and talk to myself when I was 10 years old. 12, what is your favorite personality trait? How does having that trait help you? The trait that I have is that I push forward, and I love learning, and I love implementing. If I'm bored with something, I can't do that, but if I push forward, definitely I'm a go-getter, and I don't give up. Number 13, describe your beliefs and values and how they make you a good person. My beliefs and values have changed over the years. No disrespect to anybody who was Catholic, but I consider myself to be Catholic. I still say my prayers, but I don't attend church because after the scandals came out, I just was so disgusted with the Catholic Church and how they hid all of these rapes that happened and abuse, and I can't be a part of that. So I then just praying on my own, reading the Bible. I tried a different church for a while. I still consider myself very close to God. I could be closer, but I'm still working on it, and it's a challenge because you grow up believing something, and then you find out that certain people or certain places that you went weren't a very honest community or a very honest person, and you distance yourself from that because you don't want to be associated with it. So that's something that I've learned. People are just people. They're going to do stupid things. Some people are going to do evil things. And you have to be true to yourself. My relationship with God has nothing to do with all these other people. And a church, to me, is a community. And it's a building within a community. It can be a building anywhere, and it can be a community anywhere, because people rent out places to be a church. But if those leaders tend to do things that are wrong, you don't want to be associated with those leaders, and that's my choice. So And that's my value system and my belief system. I don't associate with people who do terrible things and then think that it's okay, because to me that's just kind of part of the problem. I I have a very high value system about, associating with certain types of people, and I'd rather be alone than with bad company. That's a saying that my mom used to always tell me. I didn't understand it for a while. I kind of knew what she was talking about, but I think that until you experience something, those little sayings don't click to you. Um, 14, list 15 things that have happened in your life that will make you smile. I'm not going to sit here and tell you 15 things that have happened to me, but just my current endeavors have made me smile. A couple of parties that I've thrown in the past. Last year I was throwing birthday parties for coworkers and giving them presents, and that's just who I am. Now, the fact that two of those people went very sour on me, I'm happy that they're not in my life, because when people show you who they really are, I've learned to back away, you know. And I have even done special things for boyfriends that I've had, and I don't regret doing those things, because I know that as time goes on, I always get them. I don't know, for some strange reason, it'll be 5, 10, or 15 years later, and they'll try to DM me and, hey, I remember when you did this or that. I'm happy that I made you happy at that point, but I'm not the one that messed up the relationship. I'm not the one who hasn't grown. And sometimes when people come back from the past, I kind of ask them a couple of questions, and I just find out, as usual, they're still stuck in the same place, and I don't want anything to do with them. Not that I'm considering going back with anybody, but I think it's wonderful when people change, because you can be a friend, or you can be kind of a part of their life, but you realize then you can't be part of someone's life who is still so blatantly disrespectful or even evil. That's all I have to say about that. 15. List 15 things that you have done or survived that would make you feel proud. I'm not going to list 15 things, but I am going to say that I did survive an abusive relationship, two back-to-back abusive relationships where I didn't even have a place to live. The reason why that happened was because these two individuals, when I was dating one and then, broke up, and then had a relationship with the other person and broke up, the similarities were that they didn't believe in me, and they were takers. I'm over here thinking that I'm in a relationship with someone who is 50-50, and it was more like 25-75. And men can also take advantage of women with their money as well. There's male gold diggers. So I survived that. I'm focused, I'm starting businesses, and I'm very happy. Number 16, what do you need to accomplish in the next 30 days to feel that you had a great month? My email list, a couple of more YouTubes, a couple of starting the TV show. That would make me feel accomplished. 17, choose someone you admire and list everything you have in common with that person. Right now, I'm not saying that I'm like these people, but I'm learning from Tai Lopez, Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, and a lot of other people. And what I'm learning from them is to push forward no matter what, and also to pivot. My back was hurting me this week. From my book bag, it was too heavy, and I'm still feeling a little stiff in my left side, but I couldn't record or practice for my show, so I pivoted and I started to work on my email list. And I would have just been angry and frustrated and, dwelling. And I'm not that person anymore. Right now, it's like, okay, this is not working out. Let me work on this other thing until this other thing that I needed to do is fixed. So, you don't give up. You just work on something else and then go back to it when things are normal. 18. Who is in your life that makes you feel more confident or the most loved? My current boyfriend, we joke around a lot, and that's something that I feel that is important in my life. He's very affectionate, which is important in my life. I didn't realize that I needed that until I had him. My friends, because I can talk to them about topics about spirituality and business, and they understand what I'm talking about because they're at that level too. So I think those are the most important people in my life at the moment because they understand me. And even people that I feel close to in my family, I can't really talk to them about this stuff because they're not at this level. I'm not saying they're at a higher level, but when you're not an entrepreneur, you don't understand entrepreneur problems or insights. When you're not very spiritual in the sense of learning about spirituality, I can talk to these people about Abraham Hicks. I can talk to these people about something that I learned from Tony Robbins or Tai Lopez, and they get it because they're at that level too. Sometimes you have to have different things that you can talk about with different people. If I wanted to talk about a certain movie, I know who to go to. If I wanted to talk to about what I'm going through now in business, there's other people I can talk to. 19. How do you believe other people see you? There's always going to be different perspectives on that. People are going to actually see you as either, if you're successful, you're a snob or a bitch. Or a jerk. If you're helpful, then they think that you're a doormat to walk all over, and that's not necessarily so. You can be a good person, but you also have to learn about your boundaries, and this is why it's good to do exercises like this, because you get another perspective and you grow. Even if it's just a little tiny bit, there is going to be a change in you. The next time somebody starts an argument with you and you know that you're in the right and that this person is trying to gaslight you, you can call it out and see it for what it is. 20. How would a casual observer describe you? I guess if you guys are new, you're going to see me as, oh, she's smart, but she can be a bit of ditzy at times, I guess. I kind of like to be a little funny or whatever when I can. So, I don't know. I also learned that other people's opinion of you is none of your business. So, if it's a good opinion, thank you. If it's a bad opinion, it's none of my business. It's your prerogative. Number 21. How would a coworker describe you? My coworkers would say that I love to throw birthday parties. I love holidays. Every time there was a holiday, even if it was St. Patrick's Day, like we celebrated everything, or I try to celebrate everything. So they know that I love holidays and gift giving, and I would always say that I never expected anything, which I didn't. I just wanted the good karma from doing that. And some people think, oh, you want something out of this. You want the good karma. There's nothing wrong with that. It's better to be a good person and do good deeds than go out there and do bad things and then get bad karma. That's what I feel. 22. How are you making the world a better place? I feel like these videos help. My books and my classes help, which I'll list below. That's all I can say. Like I'm trying to contribute as much as I possibly can. I was on Red Cross volunteer for a while, so I felt very good about that. It felt good to wear that red jacket. It's the closest that I could get to being, a fireman and a police officer at the same time, or kind of get that pride about that. And eventually I'll go back to it. Excuse me. 23. List the positive contributions you are making to the world and to the people in your life. I think that being a positive person helps other people be positive. I think that being a person who perseveres and pushes forward helps other people who are going through it, because you can be an example to them. When someone's going through something bad, I kind of tell them the bad things that I've gone through and how I've been able to push forward and try to be there for that person. 24. Describe the greatest obstacles you have successfully overcome. The greatest obstacle that I have ever tried to overcome was my self-esteem. Just not letting people push me over anymore. And it's, even though I don't know if it's something that would be revenge, but being successful, I think, is the best type of revenge, being happy, because look at all the people that, tore you down and called you names and called you stupid or crazy for wanting these things. And then you get them, or you start following the path and things are working out for you, and they're looking at you like, how did this person do this? It's following a formula of success. It's going out there and learning new things. That's basically what it is. Number 25. What do people say or do that harms your self-esteem? I hate those sarcastic, mean jokes that, that someone says something and then they go, ha ha, and they laugh, and then they're the only one laughing, and you're just looking at them like, my God, you're a jerk, or what a bitch. So I feel like that sense of humor, I don't particularly like it. I feel like there are other ways to be funny. 26. What are the things that people say or do that increase your self-esteem? There's a certain way that you speak to people, and a lot of people don't have that decorum. So I guess when someone says something really nice and it's genuine, that's the best type of compliment. Or, when someone says that you're wearing something nice, or just the little things, I guess, help bring a person's self-esteem. Or when someone asks for advice and then actually follows it and then says that it helps them, that's like the greatest boost to your self-esteem. 27. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Look at yourself for at least 5 minutes. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm feeling like the lashes, and I'm feeling, the lipstick. I love neutral lipsticks. My teeth are better. They're not perfect, but I used to have buck teeth as of till the beginning of 2016. My teeth weren't the U shape that they're supposed to be. These two teeth stuck out, and this one and this one were facing that way, so it was really, really bad. The first 4 teeth, I had them fixed. Not perfect, but I am going to get veneers for the bottom, and as time goes on. And it did help my self-esteem. I'm on camera now. I never used to want to be on camera. 28. Describe something you did but were afraid to do. How did you feel after it was over? Being on camera. Like, I was so afraid of this because my teeth are horrible. They're not perfect now, but it's a lot better. 29. What do you wish people knew about you and why? I have been opening up more because I feel like a lot of people have similar stories to mine and can identify. But I feel that people just don't know how to push forward, because so much of the people that are in your life bring you down, or in the past that are bringing you down, and you feel that those are your qualities. It's a lie. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lie. You're not dumb. You're not, the only reason that you're stuck is because you don't know certain things. And once you uncover the questions and the answers, and finding the answers to your problems is the most amazing feeling, because you're like, I got it, now I know what to do, or I got it, now I know what I did, why I did that. And you're gonna feel kind of bad that you did certain things or you believe certain things, but then it's just like, well, now it's a new beginning, a new chapter in your life. Now you know what to do, and now you know not to do those things anymore. And it doesn't matter how old you are, you're going to feel so much better about yourself once you know that you know better, and that you know that you've solved your problems or your challenges. So I guess that's what I wanted people to know about me, that I've been through hell and back. And, I'm pushing forward. Number 30, describe the kindest thing you ever did for anyone. How did it make you feel? Oh, volunteering. I did a lot of that for many years. Like I said, I love throwing birthday parties and giving presents, and I like the package, the presentation, so I don't want to throw something in a bag and give it to somebody. And if I do that, I probably didn't have time to wrap the present, but I'm going to find a really cute bag to put it in. So that's, I guess, some of the kindest things that I've done for people. 31, what is the best compliment you ever received? Why do you like this compliment so much? I guess my clothing. I don't know. Or some people think I'm attractive, so it does kind of help your self-esteem a little bit. It just makes you uncomfortable when it's a person that you think is creepy that tells you that. It's like, oh, you know. 31, what is the best compliment you've ever received? Why do you like this? Oh, we did this already. 32, how much time do you spend worrying about the opinions of others? Has this habit ever helped you out at all? I'm learning the opinions of others really doesn't matter, because when my ex-boyfriend dumped me for another woman 5 years ago, a week later I made #1 as an Amazon International best-selling co-author. And his family and friends knew it was a big deal. Some of my family members knew it was a big deal. He played it off as like, oh, you're not solo. And he found out recently about the 800 plus articles written about me, about the TV show, about me doing YouTube, about all these other things, and that's nice. But I know he feels stupid, so in my heart of hearts, I know that I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. I'm a person of my word. My word is very important to me. And I'm learning not to let their opinions bother me as much. And sometimes you have to say, consider the source. If the person's miserable and they say something to you, they're miserable. They think about themselves that way. 33, what is the best decision you ever made? What was so great about it? The greatest decision that I ever made, I was fired from my recent job in May, the end of May, and I was always working behind the scenes on my businesses. And the fact that I already had 2 businesses 2 weeks after I was fired was like amazing. A month later, I had, I believe, 4 out of 5, but I was already starting the production of the TV show. And just, I knew my coworkers, my friends at work, whatever, were going to tell the 2 people that were the people that fired me. And I was smiling, because I was just like, you thought you brought me down, but you didn't. You thought you were above all others, and you weren't. And their opinions of me didn't matter. So I've just felt like when you see that other people's opinions don't matter, and you're going to do what you're going to do anyway, it's when you dwell and you start to believe what other people tell you that you kind of just do what you're doing, exactly what they're telling you their opinion about you is. So you need to stop. '34. Describe how you mastered a challenging skill. How did you feel when you were successful? How did I feel when I was successful? When you follow a certain path of reading, of learning, and then implementing, and then pivoting when things don't always go your way. Like I said, my back was bad this week, and I was like, screw this. My friend Marty, who's my partner for my TV show, was like, oh, just rest. And I'm like, I can't. I have to. My back is hurting me. My arms are good. My hands are good. My brain is good. My legs are good. It's just my back. I sat in bed and I worked on growing my email list, and I grew it to close to 1,000 people. And, my goal is to have 100,000 people. So that is something that I feel like it was a challenge, because my back was really hurting me every time I moved. It was really hard. But, that's how I feel that I have that tenacity to just push forward. Number 35. What life lesson would you share with your children, nephews, and nieces? Write it down. Just you guys write it down. When something bad happens, they say everything is for a reason. I never believed that. I just thought like, oh my God, God hates me. Oh my God, like, why do I have such bad luck? I have horrible taste in, I had a horrible taste in men. That was basically my problem. I didn't ask enough questions. I didn't study relationships. I didn't have people that were role models for me. Once I found the role models, once I found the books and the audios, and then I realized my mistakes, I was like, oh, I didn't have boundaries. Oh, I didn't ask the right questions. I did take my time, but I didn't really know this person. And people hide their personalities, so that's part of the problem too, with friends and family. 36 is the last question. What do your friends admire about you? What do you admire about yourself? This is kind of similar to a couple of the other questions. My friends were kind of shocked that I did this, that I started these businesses and everything was going well and it's growing. But also that I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And that's about it. And I try not to be my best, not to be a person who, well, how should I say this? I don't want to put anybody down. So I try to be gentle when I ask a question. And when a person gets mad at me, it's like, look, I care about you. I don't want to see, I'll tell them what I see them as. This is what I see you as. And, do you see yourself that way? And a lot of times people don't see themselves the way you see them. That's why relationships are so hard, because sometimes one person loves a person more than the other. And it's so hard that you see this person in such a great light and you kind of downplay their faults. And then what they do is they see all these faults in you and not enough of the light. And by them doing that to you and you moving on eventually, and sometimes I know it's very hard when you have a breakup. Some people can be by themselves for a year or years, or they've moved on but they haven't really moved on from their ex. It's because you saw all these great qualities and they didn't see it, and you pushed forward and you said what you said and you've done what you've done, and you pushed forward and you've done everything possible that you said you were going to do, when it comes to your dreams. I even read on a post for I believe it was Rich Lux. One of his followers wrote, underneath the YouTube, under comments, and sometimes people say like, oh, like I was the go-getter in the relationship, and after we broke up, I bought a house and I started a business and I had kids and I did this and this and this and that. Certain people are like an anchor, and they'll hold you down and they'll hold you back, and once you leave, you have to fill that void with education. I'm going to say it like this: education. Educate yourselves on relationships, educate yourself on business, and work on those two different things and learn and grow and be happy, because you can smile again, you can be happy, you can fulfill your life, you can give yourself the very best in life, and surround yourself with good people. And if you don't know how to do that, start a Facebook group for like-minded people. And when people are bullies or jerks, throw them out of the group, you know. So anyways, I want to just end this with like a good note, and I hope you guys, I'm reading from these pages. I hope you guys have learned. I hope that it was interesting, and I hope that you guys will leave comments on what perspectives were changed, or how you never thought about some certain things a certain way. So please let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.